Hi, a very good afternoon to everyone who's present right now. I'm Dr. Ninad Padye, a dentist. I have done my master's in periodontology and oral implantology, and I have been in clinical practice since the last 4 to 5 years. Today, I'll be talking about the oral health for children and old age. This topic is usually quite overlooked, so I would be in brief touching all the essentials about this topic. What I would be covering today is the dental problems which occur in this age group, how to deal or tackle with these problems, and how to prevent these problems from happening. Now, coming to the importance of oral health. Why is oral health essential? Basically, it saves you from those horrible toothaches that you get, those nighttime pains, the swellings, the bleeding from the gums which happen. That is prevented when the mouth is healthy. The costly treatments which might occur to treat these toothaches may be avoided, and the mouth sort of if the mouth is healthy, then overall the general health is also taken care of, because the mouth, it forms a pathway for the nutrition. The food that we eat is from the mouth, and of course the bad breath and odor which happens from the mouth may also be avoided if the mouth is healthy. What are the signs of a good oral health? Of course, the teeth should look clean. They should not have any plaque or debris over them. There should be absence of tooth cavities. The gums are to be pink, and they should not bleed while brushing and flossing the teeth. And there should be absence of bad breath. If all these factors are present, then the mouth is said to be healthy. Coming to the first part of my talk, that is the pediatric age group. The pediatric age group is usually from 0 to 18-year-old. In this age group, what is seen is 60 to 90% of the children, they have cavities in India. And 70% of the children usually miss or have to skip school because of the severe toothache that you get. Of course, the milk teeth or the baby teeth, it affects the overall health and the confidence and self-esteem of the child also. For example, say if the back teeth are missing, the back milk teeth are missing, or they have cavities, or they are broken down, then the child would not be able to chew his food properly. And if he's not able to chew food properly, his nutrition would be suffering, and his overall health, immunity, his growth would be stunted. For example, if the front teeth are missing, or if they are broken down or something, then the child would become very shy, awkward. He would not smile often. He would not open his mouth to talk, and thus his self-confidence would also be affected in such situations. That is why the pediatric age group, the oral health is quite essential, quite important. Now, now, what are the causes of the cavities which happen? The first and foremost is the tooth, which is susceptible to cavities. If there is excess of sugar which is present in the mouth, which is not cleared out for a very long time, then the sugar turns acidic. And this acidic nature of the sugar causes an influx of the bacteria, which can result in cavities from happening. So whenever you eat anything sugary, sugar related food, it should be cleared out immediately. It should be brushed out or rinsed out immediately. What are the common dental issues in the pediatric or children? First is the baby bottle cavities. Now, what are baby bottle cavities? It is usually seen when sugary drinks are given to the babies in a bottle just before the baby is about to sleep. In such situations, what is seen is all the teeth of the child, they have cavities in them. All the teeth have become black. They have small holes in them, except for the lower front teeth. The lower front teeth are protected because they have got a protection by the tongue. Usually, some parents also feel that the teeth have come out with the cavity in it, which is not so. It is basically once the tooth is out and the baby bottle cavity happening to it. The second dental issue that can happen is the tooth decay, which can give rise to pain and discomfort, or can cause tooth loss. The third dental issue in the children is the thumb sucking habit. This thumb sucking habit can can affect the growth of the teeth and the jaws, which may result in malaligned or misaligned teeth. That is, teeth which are crowded, which have got spaces between them or gaps between the teeth. A few general tips for oral health in this age group are, of course, brushing twice a day. This cannot be emphasized more. Brushing must happen at least 2 times a day for for the children. The use of a fluoride-based toothpaste or fluoridated toothpaste. The brushing must happen for a minimum of 2 to 3 minutes thoroughly using a soft bristle toothbrush. In the children, we have smaller size toothbrushes also available, which can go inside their small mouths. Flossing must also happen for the children. They must avoid acidic drinks like soft drinks and fruit juices. They must restrict their sugary food intake. Yes, this is very important. They should avoid using their teeth for anything other than chewing food. Many times I have seen people using their teeth to break open walnuts, to open packets of foods. This should absolutely not be done because it causes the tooth to chip off, to fracture. And of course, like I said, the baby bottle cavities which happen, that can be avoided if the bottle feeding is stopped before the age of 2 years. Coming to specific age groups, between the age of 0 to 1 year old, the gums can be cleaned, gums of the child can be cleaned using a moist gauze or cloth, muslin cloth or cotton cloth after every meals. There is no need to use a toothpaste in this age group. And the first dental visit of the child must happen before his first birthday. So this is important because the dentist will then counsel the parent as to what are the oral hygiene methods that can be adopted for this child. Between the age of 1 to 3 year old, the toothbrush may be introduced into the child's life. The toothbrush, like I said, should be a small one, and it is supposed to have soft bristles. If a toothbrushing is not possible, then we can introduce something like a finger brush, like I've shown in the image here, where the brush just fits on the finger and the finger can be used to clean the teeth. In the age of 1 to 3 years, the toothpaste must just be a smear, like I have shown in the image here. A thin layer of toothpaste must be present over the toothbrush bristles. This is done so because the children, they might not be able to spit out or expectorate the toothpaste after brushing their teeth. So they are not able to spit out the toothpaste. So the fluoride which is present in the toothpaste may result in fluoride toxicity. So just a thin layer of toothpaste is more than enough. And of course, parent supervision is very important when the child is brushing in this age group. Next, coming to the 3 to 6 year old, of course, parent supervision is still needed in this age group. The toothpaste can now be a pea-sized toothpaste in this age group. And flossing must be introduced to the child now. Now, flossing is essential in this age group because the permanent teeth, they start erupting in this age group, and that might result in the gaps between the teeth to become tight, to contacts to become tight, and the food might get lodged between the teeth, or plaque might start accumulating between the teeth. So flossing should be done in this age group. Next, coming to 6 to 12-year-old, the brushing and flossing must continue. We can introduce a powered toothbrush to the child. Now, powered toothbrush will sort of excite the child, like he is using some gadget to clean his mouth, so he would be more excited to brush his teeth. Also, the other advantage is the child would be able to reach all the surfaces of the tooth which are inaccessible with a normal toothbrush using a powered toothbrush. In this age group, normal amount of toothpaste can be used by the child since he is able to spit it out now properly. And mouthwash must be introduced in this age group. Now, the reason being, in this age group, most of the permanent teeth, they start erupting. So that might result in the teeth to be malaligned, to be placed one on top of each other, or crowding may be present, or tight contacts may be present, and the toothbrush may not reach all the surfaces of the tooth. So this mouthwash may reach these areas which are inaccessible by the toothbrush and clear out the plaque and food debris that is present. The orthodontic consultation, that is the braces specialist, must happen in this age group because, like I said, because of the crowding and all the teeth erupting and crowding happening, if the child needs any braces or if an early intervention is required, this might prevent a future long, extensive braces treatment if done at an earlier stage. And lastly, the pit and fissure sealants, which is like a thin layer of cement which is put on top of the tooth, like I've shown in the image here, to seal off the deep fissures and the pits of the tooth. This should be done in this age group. Between the age of 12 to 18 years, the toothbrushing and flossing must be emphasized. You should increase the knowledge about the dental care for these children, and regular dental visits must happen at least 2 times a year. Now, this I have seen in many patients, many parents saying that why are milk teeth important? They are going to fall off. The new teeth, the permanent teeth are going to come. Then why to take care of them? But milk teeth are as important as the permanent teeth because if infection is there in the milk tooth, then there is a very high possibility that the infection might pass from the milk tooth to the permanent tooth. Or if say the milk tooth is removed earlier than its normal time, then it might result in the other teeth to change their position, for the permanent teeth to erupt in a haphazard manner, and that might result in crowding of the teeth and growth of the jaws not happening. So please take care of the milk teeth also, and treatment for the milk teeth should also be done. And of course, parents serve as role models for the children. Whatever the child sees at home, he will follow. So if the parent or guardian is brushing properly, following oral health hygiene instructions properly, then so will the child follow them religiously. What are a few tips to motivate your child for dental visits? Of course, the pediatric dentist or the child teeth specialist must be involved because he or she would better understand the problems that the child has regarding the teeth and also would better understand the child's psychology. The child must also be educated about the oral care, and you should sort of make it exciting for him. For example, introduce some toothbrushing games or show him a few videos on toothbrushing. That way, he will be more excited, he would want to brush his teeth more. And this is very important. Dentists are teeth caretakers and they are not scary. Many times I have seen that the parents would tell their child, you behave properly. If you don't behave properly, I'll take you to the dentist. If you misbehave, the dentist will give you an injection. This should not be done because this creates sort of a phobia in the child's head against the dentist, and the fear persists. Next, coming to the second part of my talk, which is the geriatric age group, which are people above the age of 65 years. In such an age group, regular checkups with the dentist is absolutely essential, and regular scalings or the teeth cleaning must also be done at least 2 to 4 times a year. If they have any artificial prosthesis such as caps, dentures, implants, bridges, then that also requires special maintenance. And the gum disease is quite an overlooked factor in this age group because I would say the teeth cavity or the caries, it gives pain to the patient. That is why the patient would immediately come to the dentist, would seek some treatment for it. But gum disease usually does not give pain. It usually causes only bleeding from the gums, or the teeth might move slightly and one day might fall off. So gum diseases should never be overlooked. Of course, prevention is better than cure. How can all these diseases be prevented? By brushing 2 times a day. Electronic toothbrush might be used in the geriatric age group because if, say, for example, they have Parkinsonism, then they might not be able to brush properly. Flossing must be done in this age group, and a mouthwash must be used. And diet counseling must be done in this age group. Diet counseling would involve eating less sugary or fermentable sugars, uh, uh, taking small sips of water every half an hour, eating healthy snacks between every meals. Excuse me. How should the tooth cleaning be done in the geriatric age group? So the brush should be moved in a sequence from back to front, and it should touch all the teeth while brushing. The teeth as well as the gums must be cleaned. The brush should be extra soft or soft bristles, and if the teeth are missing, then a cotton cloth may be used to wipe the gums. And warm water must be used to clean the toothbrush and to rinse the mouth after toothbrushing. Flossing is also essential in the geriatric age group, where the floss is wound around the fingers and passed between the teeth and moved in an up and down direction against the surface of each tooth. It is important to note that the floss must not be used with excessive pressure, because this might result in damage to the gums. And floss holders may also be used in such patients, because it is easier for the patients to floss their teeth with the floss holder. Now, flossing should be done for people who have got tight contacts between the teeth. That is, the teeth are tightly touching each other. However, if there are gaps which are present between the teeth because of the teeth moving or because of the gums going down, then we should use something called as an interproximal brush. This brush is to be used in an in and out motion without using a toothpaste. Of course, if that you are wearing a denture, then it should be cleaned and removed every time you eat something. And the cleaning should be done from an inside and outside surface both using a toothbrush. However, a toothpaste should not be used, as the toothpaste is quite abrasive and might abrade the denture surface. It is very important to note that the denture must be removed for at least 6 hours in the day to let the gums below the denture rest. And whenever it is removed, it is to be kept in a bowl of water. And this commercially available uh, pill or tablet or a powder is there, Cleansodent, that can be put in the water with the denture in it. What it does is it causes effervescence. And these effervescences are basically the bubbles of oxygen which are released from the powder, which cleans the denture surface. And lastly, if the patient is wearing if has an implant in his mouth, then implants also have a chance of infection. So they need equal or more care than the natural tooth. So brushing, flossing, use of interdental brush and mouthwash must happen, and regular dental visits for the implant maintenance must also continue. If the patient is wearing an implant, then it is advisable to use a water flosser, where, as you can see in the image, water flosser basically uses a jet of water from it. Sorry. And this jet of water cleans the plaque which is accumulated between the teeth or in the gum crevice, that is cleared out. If the patient has a habit of clenching his teeth or grinding his teeth, then something called as a night guard is advisable. This night guard basically provides a cushion between the teeth. You can see in the image, it's a cushion between the teeth, which prevents the damaging forces from being transmitted to the teeth. And this is very important. No plastic or metal toothpicks must be ever used in the mouth. Teeth are forever. So if you take good care of them, they will last you a lifetime. I have shown a video of 4 toothbrushing techniques. In the first technique, the toothbrush bristles are kept at a 45 degrees to the teeth and the gums and moved in a circular vibratory manner. In the second technique, the toothbrush is kept at a 45 degrees in a reverse manner and moved in a circular vibratory manner. The third technique, which is there, is the same one. This third technique is the same one as the first one, where a 45 degrees circular vibratory manner, but an added motion of sweeping motion from top to bottom. This motion, which is happening, this is additional. And this technique, which is the circular moving technique, is usually recommended in children. So whichever toothbrushing technique is convenient to you, you can follow it. With that, I would like to thank Healwell24 for giving me this opportunity to talk on this topic. And I hope I was able to convey my thoughts to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Hi, Dr. Ninad, right?
Yes, Mr. Singh. Hi.
Yeah, Dr. Ninad, thanks very much. Dr.
Mhm.
Ninad, just ongoing, just want to understand some whether generally the my quick Q&A is all about.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, in this pandemic or non-pandemic future, digital health and reaching out via telemedicine and teleconsultation. For
Uh-huh.
example, in our house, my mother is she's having an old age geriatric dental issues keep on
Mhm.
somewhere because of the above age 65. So
Mhm.
I would like to know because she lives in the remote area, rural,
Mhm.
semi-urban area. It is not
Mhm.
possible to come in the and go to the right dental clinic. It is
Mhm.
because of the nowadays dental clinics are not usually not practically not going on, and but
Mhm.
then. I would like to know how teleconsult can resolve the any kind of the geriatric dental issues, be it having an even having a denture. So
Mhm.
it's just keep on cleaning, but it is old age, so you can't.
Mhm.
There are always complaint cannot be removed. So is
Exactly.
telemedicine can help on the guiding the day to day or any kind of the issues or a geriatric dental issue?
Yes, first and foremost, teleconsultation is important in geriatric age group particularly because
Okay.
COVID is these geriatric age group are more susceptible and more severe forms of the symptoms are seen in the geriatric age group. So
Okay.
teleconsultation is very important in the geriatric age. And what can be done is the first consult can happen either via phone call or via a video call where the
Okay.
patient explains and talks about all the problems that he or she has to the dentist, clicks a few pictures of his mouth, a few pictures of probably the denture or the areas where he or she is having pain, and that
Okay.
can be sent to the dentist. And the dentist would then get a gross, faint idea as to what the problem is, and
Okay.
medicines if they are required, if any oral gel application or any mouthwash it is to be used, then that can be
Okay.
advised via telecommunication as well.
Okay.
However, if there are a few things, for example, if the denture needs some correction, or if the denture is paining somewhere, if it is poking her somewhere,
Okay.
then of course, then the patient would have to visit the dentist. There is no other alternative to it. But then
Okay.
what can be done is a long appointment can be kept, and whatever
Okay.
treatment is required can be finished off in that one sitting itself, so that
Hmm.
they need not come again and again, and the chance of exposure, the traveling time, and everything is reduced.
Okay. Correct. Okay. Got it. And another thing is, in this, nowadays, the people, most of the consumers or the patient want to reach via telemedicine, teleconsultation. So in
Hmm.
this time, what do you being as in dental is, this my thought that dental is different from the what other speciality. So what should be the ideal criteria of the first patient visit, or it should be a telemedicine or teleconsultation. So if any kind of the complaints of the dental issues, be the children or pediatric or the geriatric.
My personal opinion in this is the first consult should always be a teleconsult, because
Okay.
in that way the patient is able to convey everything about him, about the complaints that he or she has to the dentist. The dentist
Mhm.
notes it down in his case history format, and if necessary, medicines can be prescribed to the patient to relieve him or her from the immediate pain. However,
Okay.
the second consult should be a physical consultation. That is, the dentist must check the patient in the clinic or wherever, and the second consult should be face to face, because whatever said and done, dentistry is quite a hands-on profession. If the
Okay.
patient has got any infection in the mouth, then the infection cannot just resolve with medicines. It requires some physical, mechanical intervention to take
Okay.
care of the problem. So first consult always teleconsult. Second
Okay.
consult face-to-face consultation.
Oh, correct. Oh, great. Thank you very much. So I would also suggest other consumers or the who are in present now. So dental is very much important. So if any of the questionnaires, you can free to ask Dr. Ninad. So
I
yeah,
think
someone has a question.
somebody's kids has a
Yeah, so,
question.
our 3 kids has been listening to this, and they do have a question here. Like, I'm
Excellent,
sorry.
excellent. Go on,
Yeah.
go on, please.
How long do we have to wait to do after dinner to brush?
She is 6 years old, and she really wants to get it confirmed from you. Like, how long does she needs to wait after the dinner to brush her teeth?
I am sorry, I didn't understand the question. How long does she need to?
Yeah, can you ask properly? Okay, okay. Repeat.
How long do we have to wait to brush after dinner?
Okay, after dinner, I would suggest brushing the teeth just before you go to sleep. Because what
So-
happens is usually sometimes people eat dinner, then they brush their teeth. Then they think of, say, probably they'll have some milk or they'll have some fruits, and then that again accumulates in the mouth. So just before you go to sleep, you can brush your teeth and then go to sleep. So that is what I would advise.
Yeah, sometimes it does happen that, like, I mean, they normally don't wait for long, right? So, like, if after dinner they have to go to bed, is there some time period they have to wait? So, is it
Not
okay to
really,
brush
not
the teeth
really.
immediately?
Yes, you can brush the teeth immediately also if you're sleeping immediately after eating. That is not a problem. That can be done.
Right? So, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome. Does anybody else have any questions related to dentistry or dental issues?
So any Q&A? Any question is there? Anyone? Okay, now I'm ending this session. Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone
Okay.
for participating. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.